you never know how it's going to affect a fellow.
Kurt, this was the topic of conversation in the Tiger clubhouse and on the bench, mostly in the clubhouse where I was visiting with the players just a few moments ago. And one, they said if we don't play, if this game is postponed, then Gibson has lost the start, and it's unlikely that he would get to pitch 3 full ball games in this World Series. And number 2, if the game does start and action is resumed, how effective can he be with an hour, hour and a half, or 2-hour delay? Now, you pointed out some pitchers. This is Joe Sparma, and he'll be the new Tiger pitcher, and he'll warm up from the mound. Oh, Joe is coming out to take his place on the mound.
They're spreading sand in the home plate area. That has been completely covered by sand. I imagine they might do it to the mound also. Troublesome spots in the infield will be taken care of. And the water from the tarp has now been dumped in the left field area, and that's going to be treacherous out there.
Kurt, I was sort of in on a hierarchy meeting down there for a moment, but they left us, and
that was interesting.
It was interesting. The commissioner of baseball came over with the assistant commissioner, Joe Reichler, Mr. Charlie Seeger of the commissioner's office. They called Red Shanedeast over and said something to him, and Red then left and went back to the Cardinal dugout. I don't think Red agreed with exactly what they said at the time, but I don't know what it was. They said something to Mayo Smith. Then the 6 umpires and the commissioner and his staff went into the umpires' room, and they held a brief 10-minute meeting. And they came back, and immediately upon coming back, with hardly even looking at the skies, they announced that the game would go on. We'll take the tarp off and start right now. Of course, it wasn't raining at the time, or just a slight mist, I'll say. But it looked as if they had made a decision that we're going to make every effort to play, and if there's any way at all, we're going to start this ball game and play it. Joe Sparma taking his warm-up tosses, so this will mean that Denny McClain is out of the ball game.
With Sparma warming up, George, let me tell the fans that this game is going to resume here in 7 or 8 minutes, top of the 3rd inning. NBC will continue its coverage of the 1968 World Series. This game will be shown to its conclusion, and after this game, NBC will then switch you to Oakland, California, and the Boston Patriots Oakland Raider American Football League game. It was scheduled to start at 4 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time, 1 o'clock Pacific Coast Time. But this 4th World Series game will be played to its conclusion, will be shown by NBC, and then we'll switch to Oakland, California, to the football game between Oakland and Boston, which was scheduled to start at 4 o'clock Eastern Time. It'll probably be joining in progress. Joe Sparma warming up. And let us repeat again, George, and you were downstairs. I don't know whether you heard it or not. There have been 3 tie games that were called either because of weather or darkness. But there's never been a World Series game, as far as anybody can search back through the record, that started that did not wind up as an official game. This is not an official game yet. The tie games were official. All the individual records went in the books. And until the Tigers, who are trailing right now, either go ahead in the last of the 5th inning or bat through the last of the 5th inning, this will not be an official game.
Kurt, I had an interesting visit with the umpires. They were seated on the Tiger bench as I went down there, and the first question, naturally, that I put to them, how long will you wait? What decision are you going to make, and so forth? They said this ball game will be treated exactly as a ball game would be treated during the regular season, whether it be opening day, the middle of the season, or the latter part of the season. There will be nothing new at all, no new decisions made here. When we as a group decide that this ball game cannot be continued, then we will go to the commissioner and we'll make a recommendation that this game cannot be played, and the commissioner then will announce that the game has been officially called. And if we decide that it can be played and we want to take the tarp off and resume action, we'll give the same decision to the commissioner and he'll decide.
George, did you talk to the umpires when they called time at 2:15 Eastern Time, just how bad the conditions were to their thinking?
They said that the skin part of the infield was not bad as yet, but the reason they called it as quickly as they did, the pitcher's mound and the home plate area was getting in bad shape, and this is one area where they move around a lot, and of course there's some danger of a pitcher pulling a muscle or hurting his back or something, and this was the first concern, the pitcher's mound and then the home plate area. The skin part of the infield was soaked, but not bad.
While Joe Sparma warms up, here's the Cardinal lineup again. Lou Brock leading off today in left field. Flood's in center field, batting second. Roger Maris is hitting third in right field. Orlando Cepeda's the cleanup man at first base. Tim McCarver is catching and hitting fifth, and hitting he is with a single and a triple so far. Shannon at third base. He's had 2 hits. He's batting sixth. Javier is at second base, batting seventh. Maxville is the shortstop. Gibson is the pitcher. Gibson is warming up again and is going to take a long warm-up. He started a warm-up down there in the Cardinals bullpen. Same time Sparma walked to the mound. So Gibson will be out for the last of the third inning. The Cardinals again are leading 4-0. When play is resumed, they'll have runners on first and second, 2 out.
Kurt, let me make this observation, too. I talked to a member of the ground crew, in fact, 2 members, and they pointed out that once you put the tarp on the field and it gets wet, you take it off again, wrap it up, then it's hard to put on again. It takes a lot of time to get it back on. They pointed out, too, that the infield is already wet and the outfield is in very bad condition, and that very much rain right now, and as much time as it would take them to get the tarp back on the field could endanger the progress of this ball game if it should start raining again.
And let's, George, give the fans the Tiger lineup again. Dick McAuliffe leading off today is at second base. Mickey Stanley's at shortstop. Al Kalines in right field hitting third. Norm Cash is the cleanup batter at first base. Willie Horton's in left field hitting fifth. Jim Northrup in center field batting sixth. Eddie Matthews playing third base today, batting seventh. Bill Freehan catching and hitting eighth. And now Joe Sparma, who is appearing in his first World Series game, who wound up the 1968 season with 10 wins, 10 losses, an earned run average of 3.71. 26 years old, born in Massillon, Ohio. He was a football player at Ohio State, a quarterback. This is his 6th pro season. Vice President Humphrey and the Commissioner of Baseball, General Ecker, with Joe Reichler, the Director of Public Relations of Major League Baseball, right back of them. They're back in their official box again. Sparma, a fireballing right-hander. George Kell will be telling you more about him. Joe Schultz is walking across. He'll be in your picture in a moment. There the Tigers taking the field again. And we're going to have just about an hour and 15-minute delay. It's 3:28 now. It'll be a minute or two before they get going. The umpires again. Bill Kinnaman behind the plate. Doug Harvey of the National League at first. Bill Haller at second of the American League. Tom Gorman of the National League at third. Jim Honeycheck of the American League umpiring the left field line, and Stan Landis the right field line. So it seems about a year since we last played ball here, but Game 4 of the World Series is going to get underway, and George, you can set them up again here in the top of the third the way it was when time was called at 2:15.
Well, the Cardinals have runners at first and second. There's 2 outs. Maxville will be the batter, but instead of facing Denny McLean, he'll be facing Joe Sparma, the big fireballing right-hander of the Tigers. And Sparma, while he has not enjoyed a successful season, he is probably the quickest Tiger of all of them. He'll throw harder than anybody. He has a good curveball, but control has been his problem. Joe has not been able to get the ball over this year with the degree of consistency that he has in the past, and so he's had a rather rough season. But he's capable of turning in a great job. He's got a good fastball, a good curve, and he can overpower you. So we're ready to go. Sparma gets set, and the pitch coming up to Dow Maxville. Threw him a curve, and it's down low. 1 ball, no strike. Shannon is at second base, and Javier is at first. And the rain has started again. As soon as the ball game started, the rain has moved in again. Here's the pitch. Ball, it's inside, and it's ball 2, and no strike. Raining again, and fog is moving into Tiger Stadium, so we're battling the elements here today. Sparma's battling the Cardinals right now, trying to get them out in the top of the third inning. Foul tip.
Georgia's temperature also is dropping. It's getting to be a chill, a raw chill in the air now. It seems to be about 10 degrees colder than it was a half hour, an hour ago.
Well, it's getting late in the afternoon, so to speak, here on a fall afternoon in Detroit. It's 3:30, and no sun at all, naturally. Just a cold, raw day right now. Here's the pitch. Line drive, one hop. McAuliffe knocks it down. Over to first, and Cash scoops it up. Dick McAuliffe knocked it down. A short hop on the liner. Flipped it over to Cash in time for the putout. The Cardinals get 2 runs in the inning on 3 hits. There were no errors, 2 left, and the score as we go into the bottom of the third. St. Louis 4, Detroit nothing.
Want to buy a horse? Get a Commerce Boots and Saddle loan. Paul got a Boots and Saddle loan from the Canadian Imperial Bank of Commerce and bought 50 horses. Elizabeth got a Commerce Boots and Saddle loan and bought 16 horses. Claude got a Commerce Boots and Saddle loan and built a horse. You already have some horsepower? Get something for it to pull. Whatever you want, get it with a bank plan loan from the Canadian Imperial Bank of Commerce. You'll find it easy to arrange. Just talk to the people at the Commerce.
We go into the bottom of the third inning. It'll be the top of the batting order for the Tigers. Dick McAuliffe will lead off. He'll be followed by Mickey Stanley and then Al Kaline. 4-0, St. Louis leads. And it'll be interesting, Kurt, to see how this delay affects Bob Gibson. A pitch to McAuliffe. Foul tip. Temperature right now is 49 degrees in Detroit. The wind is from the southeast at 9 miles an hour. Humidity, 86%. We've given more weather up here today than we have baseball. Curveball is low, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Totals for the Cardinals: 4 runs on 6 hits. The Tigers, no runs on 2 hits. Down low, and it's ball 2 and strike 1. Dick McAuliffe waiting. Strike, he got it over. 2-2. Gibson gave no indication he's being affected by the delay or the weather as he burned a fastball over. Tremendous athlete, this man. He struck him out. Dick McAuliffe struck out. That's 3 strikeouts in the ball game for Gibson, and he continues to get at least 1 every inning, and every inning he's pitched in this World Series. Here's Mickey Stanley. He fouled to the first baseman his first time up. Outside, 1 ball, no strike. Just getting a slight drizzle of rain here in Tiger Stadium. Ball 2 and no strike. We're getting the same kind of weather we had a moment ago just before the delay, as the clouds are moving in closer and it's getting extremely dark here at Tiger Stadium. There's a strike. 2-1 to Stanley. Tigers batting in the third, 1 out, nobody on. Cardinals lead 4-0. A ball 2 and a strike 2 count. That one might have been out of the strike zone. Looks like it was up around the bill of his cap. A 2-2 pitch. Strike 3 call. Well, Gibson probably dispels any doubts in the minds of Cardinal followers and Shane Deast and Billy Muffet on the bench as to how he would take this delay as he strikes out the first two batters. Here's Kaline. He had a double his first time up. This is Norman Cash in the on-deck circle. Kaline, the batter. One strike. Al got the first hit off Gibson and one of two that the Tigers have. This one's going to be out of play coming back.
This dark day isn't hurting Gibson with that fastball of his.
Not at all, Kurt. Not at all. A strike two count to Al Kaline. The pitch. Outside with a curve, and it's 1 ball, 2 strikes. It's raining harder, much harder at Tiger Stadium. This is out of play. Still 1 ball, 2 strikes to Kaline. Curve got away from Gibby, I think. Makes it a ball 2 and a strike 2 count. The 2-2 pitch. A liner down the left field line. It is foul. Kaline just missed a double. That's Jim Honachik down the left field line, the umpire who made the call on that one. Ball landed about a foot outside the line, as you can see. Kaline hit a curveball. He hit a curve into the upper deck here yesterday off Ray Washburn. He's one of the better curveball hitters in the American League. He hits the fastball, too, but he hits the curve. Down low, and it's 3-2. Full count to Kaline. Norman Cash would be the next batter if Kaline can keep it alive. Here's the big pitch. Bouncing ball up the middle. It's through for a base hit. Kaline gets his second hit of this ball game as he bounces one up the middle.
And he now leads the Tigers with 6 hits. He and Brock are tied, 6 hits apiece in the series.
It's great to see this fella having a fine World Series. He's waited so long and almost didn't get in it. He's batting an even .400, 6 for 15. Norman Cash, the batter, takes a strike over the outside corner. Norm struck out his first time up. Down low, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike. A single and a double by Kaline and a single by Eddie Matthews have been the Tigers' hits off Gibson. Foul by Cepeda. A soft line drive that Cepeda caught just outside the line. So for the Tigers in the third, no runs on 1 hit. There were no errors, 1 left, and the score at the end of 3. The Cardinals 4 and the Tigers nothing.
Number 69 is going into the pit.
Check the buttons. Let's get Dodge Charger. Hey, where you going?
Sorry, fellas. He's already a winner. He's got Dodge fever.
Dodge Charger, Formula 69. That's the name of the performance game. 5 big V8s to choose from, all the way up to the 426 Hemi on the Charger RT. Charger, the clean machine, with formula looks from its hideaway headlights to this rear view you give other drivers as you leave them longing. Inside, you know you've got yourself a thoroughbred that's hot to turn you on. Get Charger while the fever's hot.
Dodge is turning up the fever now. Get your cure for a new Dodge fever now. Dodge fever at your Dodge dealer.
Bob Gibson will, this is Mayo Smith in the Tiger dugout. Johnny Sain sitting right behind him. Bob Gibson will be the leadoff man for the Cardinals in the 4th inning. Gibson, Brock, and Flood will be the Cardinal batters. And Joe Sparma doing the pitching for the Tigers. 1 ball, no strikes. We're getting action in the Tiger bullpen. Patterson, the right-hander, and Hiller, the left-hander. Foul tip. 1 ball and 1 strike. Darrell Patterson, hard-throwing right-hander, and John Hiller, left-hander, both of whom pitched in yesterday's game. Seems like a long time ago, Kurt, yesterday. Here's the 1-1 pitch coming up. Strike. Good fastball over the outside corner. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Gibson bounced to the shortstop in his first trip. There she goes, a long belt to left. This one's well hit, and it's gone. A home run for Gibson. Bob Gibson getting his 2nd World Series home run. He had one last year against the Red Sox. He caught a high curveball almost out of the strike zone, much as Mickey Lolich hit, and drilled it into the seats. Here's Lou Brock. We almost got that one right here. I thought you had it, Kurt.
We almost had it right in the face.
The thing Brock hits is a line drive, even to the TV booth. There's another foul that'll be out of play, and this one's a little better placed.
You know, they talked about pre-series. The Cardinals have stolen 4 times as many bases. The Tigers over twice as many homers. The Cardinals now have 5 homers, and the Tigers 4.
A 2-strike pitch to Brock. A little bit high, and it's 1 ball, 2 strikes. I think they like Tiger Stadium. There was so much talk about how many home runs going to be hit here, so they wanted to get in on the act. There's a drive into deep right center field that's well hit, and it is against the fence on the first hop. This might be an inside the park job. Let's watch it. Nope, they're going to hold him. Brock is being held at 3rd base. That ball hit the fence at the 415-foot mark on the first hop. Here it is, in deep right center field. This is the deepest part of this ballpark with the exception of straightaway center. And this is Mayo Smith coming out. He's got a right-hander and a left-hander in the bullpen. In this inning, Sparma has given up a home run to Gibson and a triple to Lou Brock.
George, let me correct myself. I said the Tigers had 4 homers. They have 5. Lolich is not in our list here of today's players, and he hit a home run down in St. Louis. So they're even up at 5 home runs apiece.
Here's the new pitcher coming on. It's going to be Darrell Patterson, the right-hander. While there's a break in the action here in Detroit, the score, the Cardinals 5, the Tigers nothing.
If you've been looking for a lime shaving cream that's not too sweet, Gillette Foamy has what you've been looking for. Because Gillette Foamy has this, the lemon lime. It's part lemon, part lime. The essence of the lemon keeps the tang in the lime. And that keeps this shaving cream from smelling too sweet. Gillette Foamy with lemon lime. Wait till your face gets a taste of it.
Introducing the sporty new 1969 Gillette Techmatic Razor. The fabulous razor band and the dramatically light touch are still standard equipment. But this year's model has one bold new feature. A little dial you can adjust to give yourself a closer shave. We call it the adjustable Gillette Techmatic.
Darrell Patterson, tall right-hander, taking his warm-up tosses. Cardinals have built up a 5-0 lead over the Tigers. They have a runner at third base with nobody out. 4 of the runs charged to the starting pitcher, Dennis McLean, and of course the first run in this inning, Bob Gibson's home run, was charged against Parma, and he's responsible for the runner at third base. McLean pitched 2 2/3 innings, gave up 6 hits, 4 runs. He walked 1 and struck out 3. And Sparma pitched 1/3 of an inning. He's given up 2 hits, 1 run. And Lou Brock would be charged against Sparma if he should score.
George, we got a wire from somebody here in Montana. Says, hang tight, weather here beautiful, heading your way.
Always beautiful in Montana.
A long ways.
Supposed to clear here at midnight. Kurt Flood, the batter. Tigers playing in tight on the infield. And the rain is still coming down at Tiger Stadium. Foul ball. 1 strike to Flood. Kurt's had a single today in 2 trips. Bounced to McAuliffe in the first inning, single to right field. His second time up. Singled and scored a run in the 3rd inning. Cardinals are in a hitting mood today, picking up where they left off yesterday. Got the fastball by him. 2 strikes. Patterson throws hard. He's only 21 years old. He's for the Tigers in his first season. Did a tremendous job in the bullpen. You can see the rain coming down behind him, and it's coming down hard. Ball up high. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. Another foul. Still a ball and 2 strikes. Lou Brock at third base with nobody out. We're in the 4th inning. Here he is. Curve down low. The count is even to Flood at 2-2. They finally found a place for that Brock where he can't steal. He hit a home run his first time up and tripled his 3rd time up, and in between they got him out on a ground ball. Guess you can hear the crowd roaring in the background. That's because it's raining hard. Here's a fly ball into shallow right field. Brock's tagging up. This is going to be interesting. K-Line makes the throw, and he goes back. Well, the old pro, Al K-Line, right here, has long been known as one of the better throwing outfielders in baseball, and he just showed Mr. Brock that he was going to take charge for a moment. Look at this throw. Right on the plate, and Lou Brock came about halfway down the line and went back to 3rd. So K-Line says, you still have to respect the arm. A great throw. Roger Maris, the batter. Still a runner at third base, 1 out. Cardinals lead 5-0. This is going to be foul and out of play down to the Cardinal bullpen. I told you a moment ago you could hear the crowd roaring out in the bleachers. And I think it's because the rain is coming down so hard right now. Of course, they'd like to see nothing better than stop this game, and that's what they're hollering right now, to stop the ball game. It's coming down pretty good. Well, the bleacher fans will stick with you. I'll say that, Kurt, through thick or thin.
You always have.
Yes, sir. You remember when Ted Williams left to go back to the Marines, his 2nd tour of duty, and we were all up there at home plate, and Never tipped his hat or said, oh, but finally he turned around to the bleachers and he tipped his hat. He said, these are my people. And they roared.
Those fans in the left field grandstand weren't his people, though. Sit up above him there for years and give it to him.
Here's the strike 2 pitch. A high pop fly near the dugout. Cash and Freehand both coming over. Nobody covering home. Matthew comes over. They dropped it. Freehand and Cash ran together. And they dropped it.
Matthews, Stanley even came in. When Stanley saw home plate uncovered, there he is going back to his shortstop position. He was coming in at full speed to cover the plate.
Well, it's pretty hard to fault anybody on this, but there's something that shouldn't happen. You shouldn't run together, but Paul Richards said one time, I'd rather see spike marks all over my infielders than see one drop with nobody touching it. And Cash and Freehand just collided, and the error is charged against Freehand. Outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Normally, a pop fly like this would be taken easily by the first baseman, but Freehand is so aggressive, and he's such a good catcher on pop flies that he challenges everything. Most catchers in baseball would holler at the first baseman immediately, you take it. Just missed. 2-2 to Maris. Well, that was a big play for Patterson. It would have left him with only Cepeda to get out to hold the runner at third. Here's the 2-2 pitch coming up. Outside, he just missed. Full count to Roger Maris. Lou Brock moves up the line from third base. A ball 3 and a strike 2 count. Young Darrell Patterson gets ready. There's a bouncer to second. Nope, they can't get him. The ball bounced high in the air, and McAuliffe had no chance to get Brock. It'll be a run batted in for Roger Maris, and the Cardinals lead 6-0 as Cepeda comes on with 2 outs, nobody on. Great speed pays off in a lot of ways, Kurt. Not many people would have scored on that.
He just puts the pressure on you, and it comes out of that locker room into the dugout.
Talking about the pressure, Kurt, pressure today is on the umpires and the commissioner. Got to be. The pitch to Cepeda. Strike. They resumed play when it was still raining a little, and then if this becomes a complete ball game, say an official ball game, at the end of 5, it'd be pretty hard to call it then to go the other way. So there's a lot of pressure here today as to what to do with this game. They're trying to get it in, as they should. 1 ball, 1 strike on Orlando Cepeda. They'll play no favorites. You can bet on that. Too high, ball 2 and strike 1. Cardinals have 6 runs on 8 hits. The Tigers have no runs on 3 hits, and the Tigers have chipped in with 2 errors. Here's the pitch. Foul tip. A ball 2 and a strike 2 count. I don't think anybody went home during the delay. I see very few, if any, empty seats around. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Inside. 3-2 to Orlando Cepeda. Patterson gets ready. Foul ball. Looks like it might have been ball 4. Orlando reached out for a high outside pitch and fouled it back. Still 3-2. 2 outs, nobody on. We're in the top of the 4th. The Cardinals lead 6-0. The big pitch. Ball, he walked. Cepeda gets a walk with 2 outs. Here's Orlando at first base, and the batter will be Tim McCarver, who's had a single and a triple today. Norman Cash has gone in to talk to Patterson, and boy, this brings the umpires out quickly. Bill Kenneman says, let's play ball, and Cash says, I want to talk to Patterson. And now Mayo Smith comes out. I know what Mayo's saying, Kurt. He says, you mean I can't talk to my pitcher just because it's raining?
But Cash is saying, too, if I want to go there and talk to him, I can.
And I would imagine Mayo's saying something else, too, that we're not hurrying up this ball game to get it over for the Cardinals. Well, that's the way it's going to be. Both teams playing it to the hilt here. The pitch to McCarver. There goes Cepeda. He is out at second base. Cepeda was running on the pitch, and you know he wanted to get out quickly if he could, and he was tossed out by Freehand. 2 runs in the inning on 2 hits. There were no errors, none left, and the score at the end of 3.5 innings of play, the Cardinals 6 and the Tigers nothing. We pause briefly for station identification. Willie Horton will lead off for the Tigers in the 4th inning. Horton, Northrop, and Matthews will be the batters. And the rain continues to fall at Tiger Stadium. 1 ball, no strikes to Willie. They've got to go through the 5th inning if the Tigers are behind to get a complete ball game. The Tigers should rally and go in front. Of course, 4.5 innings would make a complete game. But the team that's behind must bat 5 times. Ball 2 and no strikes to Willie. Horton had a walk his first time up. The only walk given up by Gibson. You can see the umbrellas in attendance. They're very prominent in the stadium right now. There's a strike. 2-1 to Willie. Burned a fast one by him. 2-2. A ball 2 and a strike 2 count to Horton. And Gibson, a little disgusted with Horton as he takes time to go back to the Tiger dugout to get a towel, I think. Oh, he's going right in the dugout.
Going to get the mud out of his cleats. Bill Kinnaman, the home plate umpire, Gibson watching him. Now they're starting to play around with the weather.
This is almost inevitable, Kurt, that we'd get some of this. And justifiably so. Conditions are miserable, there's no doubt about that, but they're trying to get it in. You can see the rain coming down, and it is coming down pretty hard. The crowd loved that little bit of byplay by Willie Horton, whether anybody else did or not. Here's the pitch. He fouls it back and out of play. Still 2-2 to Willie. Willie, on a dry day with the sun shining, takes a lot of time between pitches. He struck him out. Willie Horton went for the high fastball, and he struck out. It's 5 strikeouts for Gibson, and the batter will be Jim Northrup. He continues his pace of at least 1 strikeout per inning in every inning he's pitched in this series. 1 ball, no strike. Down low, and it's ball 2 and no strike. Jim Northrup, the batter. The 0-2 pitch is in there for a strike.
6-run lead behind 2-0 on these batters. Gibson just been laying that fastball right in there to him.
There's a fly ball that's foul and out of play, curving into the seats. Evens the count at 2-2 to Northrup. The 2-2 pitch. Another foul. Should be out of play. Gibson quickly gets a new ball. This one's in the upper deck behind the Tiger dugout, and now Northrup's going to the dugout. He just went over quickly to get a new bat, and you got to give Jim credit. He ran all the way over and all the way back with the crowd hollering, "Walk!" Two and two to Jim Northrup. Here's the pitch. Ball 3. Gibby seemed to slip on the mound on that one, Kurt. The 3-2 pitch. There's a long drive. Well hit. Could be. It's gone. Well, the Tigers have broken through against Gibson. A long home run into the upper deck in right center field. And it's a 6-1 ball game. Eddie Matthews, the batter, and he takes the strike. One's up high, 1 ball, 1 strike. It's the first run the Tigers have been able to score off Bob Gibson. There goes another one. If it stays fair, it is foul. Boy, Eddie Matthews had the range, and he pulled it foul.
This ball started off as it would be about 10 feet fair. Then it started to fade.
The ball looked like it was going into the 3rd deck when he hit it, but it began to curve, and as Kurt says, landed some 10 or 12 feet foul. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Two and two to Eddie Matthews. Matthews had a single his first time up. Still 2 and 2.
Those umpires are going to need a press job in those jackets when this game's over.
Here's the 2-2 pitch. Outside. That one was close. 3-2. Gibby went to 3-2 on Northrop before he hit the home run. Now it's 3-2 to Eddie Matthews. The payoff pitch. Ground ball, second base. Javier has it. Cepeda, he's out. Eddie Matthews goes out, second to first. That's 2 down, and the batter's Bill Freehand. Strike to Freehand. Gibson threw the curveball, breaking down and away to him. Foul tip. A strike 2 count. Freehand is the only Tiger regular, I believe, that has not hit a base hit. Right. A 2-strike pitch. This one's foul, going into the Tiger dugout. Still a strike 2 count. 6-1, the Cardinals lead. We're in the bottom of the 4th. Up high, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
See how this temperature has dropped, George. You can see Gibson's breath now.
About an hour from now, it's going to be in the 30s. Another foul ball. 1-2 to Freehand, who stays alive. Gibson is really pitching tough. He's trying to get the full 5 innings in. Bounced it up. 2-2.
Mound's giving him trouble.
It is. The mound is wet, and he's slipping a little bit. It's about twice or maybe 3 times in this inning that he has slipped on this wet mound. He struck him. Good curveball, and Freehand strikes out. The Tigers get a run in the 4th inning. 1 run on 1 hit, a home run by Northrop. No errors, none left. And the score at the end of 4, the Cardinals 6, and the Tigers 1.
In this remote part of Canada, people depend on the river. And by river, regularly as clockwork, Canadian Imperial Bank of Commerce brings banking service to them. The SS Jean-Briand is just one of the more than 1,350 commerce branches in this country. It's typical of commerce determination to make your banking convenient. Think how handy your own commerce branch is. Here's why. Because the commerce has more branches than any other bank on this continent.
Bank of Commerce, Bank of Commerce.
One of the world's great banks.
Well, we go into the 5th inning. It's a 6-1 ball game. The Cardinals are out in front of the Tigers. 6 runs on 8 hits and no errors for the Cardinals. Detroit, 1 run, 4 hits, and they've made 2 errors. Tim McCarver will be the leadoff man. McCarver was batting in the 4th inning when Cepeda was thrown out attempting to steal. You could see the rain coming down. And that's nothing new. It has been raining here in Detroit since about 11 o'clock this morning. And that's what the weatherman said yesterday before the game started, that it would rain today, and he was right. Tomorrow, he says it'll be better. There's McCarver. He's had a single and a triple today. 2 for 2.
1 ball, no strikes to Tim. Darrell Patterson is the Tiger pitcher. Pitcher number 3 for Mayo Smith. Outside, ball 2 and no strikes. He'll be the leadoff man in the bottom of this inning, and of course, we'll have a pinch batter for him, no doubt. We'll see pitcher number 4. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Strike. Outside corner with a fastball. 2-1. The 2-1 pitch. Foul back and out of play. 2-2 to Tim. This fellow had a bad series last year. He starred in the '64 World Series. He couldn't get off the ground last year, and he's coming right back this year with another fine World Series. There's the 2-2 pitch. This will be out of play. Still 2-2 to McCarver. Cardinals got 2 runs in the first, 2 in the third, and 2 in the fourth, and the Tigers' lone run against Gibson came in the 4th inning on a home run by Jim Northrup. Outside, he missed. 3-2. Patterson trying to hit the outside corner with a curveball. Three and 2 to Tim McCarver, leading off for the Cardinals in the 5th inning. There's a fly ball into left center field. Northrup coming in along with Willie Horton. Northrup makes the play. So McCarver is out on a fly to left center. That's 1 away, and the batter will be Mike Shannon. Mike's had 2 hits today, a single in the 1st inning, a double in the 3rd. Drove in a run with each hit. Here's a drive to left field. Willie Horton waiting on it. Puts it away. Whoop. He's out. Honachik called him out. Willie caught it, started to throw, and then he dropped it. Well, that's why they have those umpires out there in the World Series. He was right on top of the play, Kurt, and Jim Honachik of the American League, and he made the quick decision.
He ruled that he had control of possession long enough to establish it.
2 down, and the batter is Julian Javier. One ball, no strike. The 1-0 pitch. He fouls it back and out of play. Well, at the end of this half inning, our old friend Kurt Gowdy will be coming on to bring you the play-by-play. Darrell Patterson has 2 outs with nobody on in the 5th inning. Schultz coaching at third base. Not much to do in the way of flashing signs right now. There's a bouncer up the middle, and it's through into center field. Javier gets a ground ball single to center, just out of the reach of Stanley. Pretty hard for the infielders to move. The infield is in very bad condition right now. That's hit number 9 for the Cardinals, and the batter will be Maxwell. Dowell's 0 for 2 in this game. Struck out in the 2nd. There goes the runner to second base. Here's the throw, and he is out.
Javier just giving himself up. He just trotted down to second base, and he wanted Patterson to throw him out, and Darrell just turned around and threw him out. No runs in the inning on one hit. There were no errors. We're going to get a replay of that. Let's watch this. Throw down to second. You can see Javier as he's just giving himself up for Stanley to make the put out on him, and the Tigers, of course, are protesting. No runs in the inning, one hit, no errors, none left, and the scores we go into the bottom of the fifth. The Cardinals 6 and the Tigers 1.
Well, Dutch fever, please, not now. Test tube. Son, tiny mistake, and the whole place goes up like gangbusters. Oh, don't show me the Dutch coronet.
Dodge Coronet 500 for 1969. To start it moving, just step down and stand back. 318 cubes do the rest. New excitement in a feverish new shape.
No Dutch fever now.
In here, a beautiful new world of color and comfort, including wood grain paneling and a fold-up armrest if you like.
One look at that car now, buddy, and it's goodbye, Charlie, right there. Oh, is that what I think it is?
Dodge Coronet 500. The look is new. The price says now. Dodge Fever. More powerful than ever.
Dodge is turning up the fever now.
Well, we've had another meeting of the umpires at home plate, along with Mayo Smith of the Tigers and Red Shandies of the Cardinals. And now they're making Gibson move his sweatshirt. He had a lot of white showing along with the red, and the Tigers were protesting, but Gibby's going to pull it up far enough now. I would imagine the meeting was all about Javier going down to second without attempting to steal, just trying to get an out and get it in, so the Tigers would come to bat here in the fifth inning, and once Gibson gets them out here in the fifth inning, if they do not, well, they do or do not go ahead, it would be a complete ball game. So the umpire's warning both ball clubs about making a travesty of the ball game. Well, we move into the bottom of the fifth, and we're going to get a pinch batter, Jim Price, for the pitcher Patterson, and moving into the mic, all set to bring you the play-by-play for the last half of this ball game, our old friend Kurt Young.
Thank you, George Kell. Jim Price, a reserve catcher, swinging the bat in the on-deck circle. And the elements have been the story today. The game delayed 35 minutes in starting, and after it did start, time was called at 2:15. Nearly an hour and 15-minute delay. They took over again, and since then, a mist, light, steady rain falling. It's dark. It's getting chilly. It is now a raw, miserable afternoon here. But nobody's left. Bob Gibson's first pitch is a strike to Jim Price. Gibson has been tagged for a hit each inning, but he has struck out 6. Right in there again with that fastball. 0-2. Well, the Tigers bat through this inning. It has been an official game. Got 3 on him very quickly, and that's strikeout number 7 for Gibson. It says in the rule book that any part of an undershirt exposed in view shall be of a uniform solid color for all players on a team. And with this cold day, Gibson had probably a white undershirt on. It came through under his red Cardinal jersey. Strike. This fellow's remarkable after this hour and 15-minute delay. Under these conditions, there's a ball. The way he's pumping that fastball in there for strike after strike. Cardinals 6, Tigers 1. Last of the fifth. McAuliffe is grounded out and struck out. That makes the count 2-1. 5 of Gibson's 7 strikeouts have come since play has been resumed. High foul. Back toward the seats and right up on top of our NBC telecasting booth. We're suspended right here. We'll give you a little wave to show where we are. Just to the left of home plate. We're looking right down the right field line. This is, of all the Major League parks, George, I think the closest of any broadcasting booth to home plate.
It is. I don't think there's any doubt about it.
The 2-2 pitch. He just missed with that one, 3-2. A right-hander, Fred Lasher, is warming up for the Tigers. He'll become their 4th pitcher of the day. 3-2, 1 out, nobody on to Dick McAuliffe. And there's another strikeout for Gibson, number 8. And here's Mickey Stanley. Stanley is fouled out and struck out. Gibson's only 1 behind his record-breaking pace. He struck out 9 the first 5 innings in St. Louis. Today he broke the record with 17 strikeouts. He has struck out 8 today. A ball, a low inside delivery, 1-1. 2 out, nobody on. Cardinals 6, Tigers 1. 2-1 count. K-line on deck. Tromping that mud and combination of sand now. And they treated the mound. The 2-1 pitch. Ball 3, 3-1. Gibson has 25 strikeouts this series. The record for one series is 31 held by Gibson. He did that in 3 games. Now, back the way he's going to break his own record in 2 games. 3-2. He's bearing down on another all-time record held by Whitey Ford of the most strikeouts in World Series competition. We'll tell you more about that as the game progresses. The 3-2 pitch to Stanley. There's a smash in the deep left center. Kurt Flood positions himself and takes it. And the Tigers are out 1-2-3, and this is now an official ball game. So at the end of 5 innings, the score is the Cardinals 6 and the Tigers 1.
Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, feel confident. Stay dry with new Right Guard Antiperspirant, a completely new product from Right Guard. Right Guard Antiperspirant is a new defense against perspiration. It contains a tested agent that checks perspiration wetness. Feel confident. Stay dry. Get new Right Guard Antiperspirant in the silver can.
10 more blades to go.
5 blades to go.
3. Just 3 blades to go. That's it. I used up all the old blades. Now I can use the new Gillette Super Stainless Steel blade with the miracle plastic coating on the edge. They say it's supposed to spoil you.
The spoiler.
We pause now for station identification. This is the CBC Television Network.